Good morning, everybody. It's about 9:15, and I'm off to Mahirangi College for my normal Friday morning meeting with the principal as the chairman of the board of Mahirangi College. And then down to my offices, I have several appointments here today, local appointments, and a lot of paperwork to catch up on. It's funny that, isn't it? I always seem to say catch up on paperwork, but the reality is it never seems to stop. Reading. We were given a 94-page report by the Ministry of Education on Wednesday at Education and Science Select Committee with regard to the changes taking place to the Education Act 1989. So that's their ministerial report around the amendments in the Education Update Bill. Can I just remind everybody, the Education Update Bill, the public submission process closes on the 11th of November. So if you haven't got a submission in, you really need to. There are 13 major things that happen inside this bill, and one of them is the ability of boards to sell their services to others. It's very interesting after listening to or reading some of the advice. It would be worthy for people to go and have a look at the ability of boards then to amalgamate. And if they amalgamate, let's take a community of learning. Let's say if 20 schools wanted to amalgamate under a community of learning, and they would, under this legislation, to make sure that they were flexible enough, they would remove the principal trustee and the staff trustee. They would then be able to contract out their services to other schools and to other boards. Pretty much it would be like a school district in the States, or very similar to a school district in the States. Now, those of you who've been in education for a really long time, could I ask you to have a look at that and let us know how closely that model or that suggested model looks like what was Ministry of Education regional officers prior to Tomorrow's Schools. I need people who were involved in education over 25 years ago to go and have a look and see what they're doing inside this act, because and my view is that there are several areas of attack on the autonomy of schools under the Tomorrow's Schools models. And while I'm not saying that the Tomorrow's Schools model is perfect, I certainly am an advocate for the retention of the power of local communities to be involved inside their local schools at a governance level. So the removal of the charter out of the Education Act 1989, and that will be replaced by and the removal of the NEGs, or the National Education Guidelines, will be replaced by a National Learning Priority, which will be a directive to boards as to what they will do. And some of this has come out of those schools that stood up against national standards. The Minister is now putting into place several other intervention options that she would have been able to use against schools in that sort of a circumstance. So I'm really encouraging people inside the education sector. I know you're tired, and I know once again it's coming up towards Christmas, but there's some big stuff going on inside here. I want you to set aside your nice collegial hat for a moment. I want you to have a look at it with a harsh face. What is possible out of these changes? Because I think there's some really severe outcomes possible. All right, thanks people. Bye-bye.